All right, so today we're diving deep into the life of a real Hollywood legend, Gene Hackman.
A true icon.
He just recently passed away, 95 years old.
Yeah.
And we've got some incredible sources from In a Nutshell News. They've given us a lot to unpack about the man behind all those amazing roles.
Yeah.
And there's also the passing of his wife, Betsy Arakawa.
Mm,
It's a little, well, authorities say no foul play, but it does add a layer of intrigue, doesn't it?
definitely. And I think a lot of folks, when they hear the name Gene Hackman, they picture him in those tough guy roles right away.
Oh, for sure.
Popeye Doyle, The French Connection,
Classic.
or Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
But his career, there's so much more to it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, one minute he's absolutely terrifying you on screen, and the next he's got you laughing out loud.
Right.
Think about it. The hilarious, over-the-top producer in Get Shorty
Oh, yeah, yeah.
versus that uptight, rigid senator in the birdcage.
Yeah.
Talk about range.
Totally. And that's what makes Hackman so fascinating, right? He had that range of a classic character actor, like those guys from Hollywood's golden age.
Yeah.
They could just disappear into any role. And Hackman, he had that same ability.
Speaking of disappearing into roles, did you know Hackman was already 36 when he got his big break?
Really?
Bonnie and Clyde. Buck Burrow.
Oh.
Almost hard to believe he was actually considered too old for that part at 36.
That's wild. The role that basically launches his career almost didn't happen because of his age.
Yeah.
This late bloomer, right? He goes on to be one of the most respected actors of his generation, really challenges that whole idea that there's a timeline for success, especially in acting.
It really does make you think, right?
Yeah.
Like how many paths our lives can take and how age really shouldn't hold us back from achieving our goals.
Exactly.
And get this, he was also known for being like super picky about the roles he took. Turned down some huge parts that went on to become legendary.
Like what?
Okay, so he could have been Robert Duvall in Apocalypse Now. Or Jack Nicholson in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Imagine that.
Whoa. Think about how different those films would have been with Hackman in those roles.
Right. His intensity. How would it have shaped Colonel Kurtz in Apocalypse Now? Would it have been a completely different film? It's really mind-blowing.
Makes you think, for sure. What choices he made, how they shaped not just his career, but cinema as a whole.
And speaking of impactful films, we can't forget The Conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Hackman playing Harry Call, that surveillance expert. It's still so relevant today.
It is. It's so compelling how that film really taps into those anxieties we have about privacy and technology. And those things are even bigger now in our modern world.
Totally.
Call, he's brilliant, but he's also paranoid and isolated. Such a complex character.
Yeah, it's a chilling portrayal, and it really does resonate with all the issues we're dealing with today, right?
Definitely.
How technology has changed since that film came out, all the new ethical dilemmas we're facing. It really makes you think.
And, it's funny, right? You think about a guy like Hackman, known for all that intensity on screen, and then you look at his personal life.
Right.
He ends up going a completely different direction.
Yeah. He moves to Santa Fe with his wife, Betsy Arakawa, who's a classical pianist.
Hmm.
And they build a life together that's, well, surprisingly low-key,
Really,
far away from all that Hollywood craziness.
it really highlights that contrast, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The man who brings these huge, larger-than-life characters to the screen,
Right.
and then he chooses this quiet, private life for himself.
It's almost like he found some kind of balance,
Yeah.
Embracing a life that was so different from the world he inhabited in his films.
Makes sense.
And here's something that I bet a lot of people don't know.
What's that?
Hackman. He had another creative outlet.
Oh, yeah.
He was a novelist.
Really?
He co-authored a bunch of historical fiction novels with, get this, an undersea archaeologist named Daniel Lenihan.
Wow. That's an interesting pairing.
Right. An actor and an undersea archaeologist writing novels together. What kind of stories did they come up with?
Well, they wrote adventure stories, mostly set in the past,
Cool.
often with, nautical themes.
Makes sense.
One of their books, Wake of the Perdivid Star, it follows this ship captain in the 1800s.
That's so cool. It's like he was always drawn to exploring those hidden depths,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Whether it was in his acting, bringing those complex characters to life, or in his writing, where he's diving into the mysteries of history and the sea.
That's a great point. It's a fascinating parallel.
Yeah.
Maybe for Hackman, both acting and writing, they were ways for him to uncover truths,
Mm.
whether about ourselves or the world around us.
It's amazing to think all this coming from a guy who was almost considered too old to play a gangster in Bonnie and Clyde.
Right. It just shows you life can take these unexpected turns.
It can.
Talent can blossom at any age. Hackman's story is a great reminder that it's never too late to go after what you're passionate about
Yeah.
and make your mark on the world.
And what a mark he made. I mean, we've only scratched the surface of his incredible filmography.
We have.
There are so many other great performances to talk about, like his Oscar-winning role in Unforgiven.
Oh, absolutely. That's the beauty of Gene Hackman's career. There's just so much to discover and explore.
There is.
From those early days in Hollywood to his quiet retirement in Santa Fe, he led a life full of surprises and incredible achievements.
It's inspiring to think about the impact he had
It is.
on cinema and storytelling in general.
And even in his final film, Welcome to Mooseport,
Yeah,
he brings so much depth and humor to that role of a former president who gets caught up in this small-town election.
it's remarkable, isn't it?
It is.
Someone with such a long and distinguished career,
Yeah,
he could still maintain that level of commitment, that artistry, until the very end.
absolutely.
It really speaks to his passion for his craft.
And that passion, it went beyond acting, too. His novels, the ones he wrote with Daniel Lenihan, they show another side of his creativity, this fascination with history and adventure. Maybe even mirroring his own life's journey in a way.
Makes you want to dive into those books and see what other stories he had to tell.
It does. It's a reminder that there's always more to uncover,
Yeah.
even about someone whose life and work we think we know so well.
So what does all this mean? I think, for me, Gene Hackman's legacy, it's about so much more than just those iconic roles.
I agree.
It's about his dedication, his willingness to take risks, and his ability to constantly surprise us
Yeah.
with his range and depth.
He was truly a master of his art.
He was.
And his work, it's going to continue to inspire and entertain for generations to come.
Yeah, it's incredible what he accomplished, both on and off the screen. He really left his mark on the world of entertainment.
No doubt. And it says a lot about him as an artist that even after all that success, he kept pushing himself creatively, like writing those novels.
It's inspiring to see someone who never stopped challenging themselves,
Yeah.
finding new ways to express themselves.
Absolutely. And for us, the people who loved his work, there's always something new to discover, another film to watch again, or maybe a book to pick up for the first time.
You're right. Gene Hackman's legacy, it's like a gift that keeps on giving.
It is.
Endless opportunities to explore and appreciate his work.
It's been a pleasure diving into his life and career with you.
Likewise. And I think we've all come away with a better understanding of the man behind those iconic roles.
I hope so.
And everyone listening, we want to hear from you. What's your favorite Gene Hackman performance and why? Let us know in the comments below. And of course, a huge thanks to In a Nutshell News for bringing us the incredible information that made this deep dive possible. They're an amazing source for fascinating stories and insights. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to their channel. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.